Hi everyone! Happy Thursday. Also, happy snow day again. 2-day snow day. And I'm not actually sure why we have a snow day today because it's like pretty nice out. Like, yeah, there's a lot of snow, but it's not so bad. So I'm not really sure why, but I'm not going to complain because any day off is the best day ever. So I'm going to make, because I have all this amazing free time on my hands right now, it's amazing. I love it. I'm going to make, I call them my like energy snack balls. They're not very exciting in terms of their names, but delicious, easy snacks to have on hand, super healthy, good fats, good protein, etc., all that jazz. So basically all I do is I mix everything together in a bowl and I roll them into balls and then I pop them in the fridge. They're going to be really good for skiing this weekend, and they're good to like just have on hand when you're hungry, because they kind of satiate you. And I put a little bit of chocolate chips in there just to make them a little bit sweet, so then maybe if you're craving a cookie or something instead, you could have something a little more healthy. They're not necessarily low calorie, like they kind of pack a punch because they have so much stuff in it, but they're awesome and delicious, so that's what I'm going to make. So you can see here I have almonds, right? So we have, not brown sugar, that was in the way, coconut, oats, flax, hemp, chia, almond butter, my tea, maple syrup, a little almond milk just in case they're really dry. The almond milk can help to kind of like moisten them a little bit, and then some dark chocolate. And then I also, in with the dark chocolate, I added my cocoa nibs from Mexico, and I'm going to add some vanilla, and basically we just like mix them all up in the bowl, and that's that. So super easy. I actually think my lens is a little blurry, so hold on one second. There we go. That's better. All right, so to make these, take all the things and put them in the bowl for the most part. I actually am not very good at measuring it. Oops. It slid. Okay, there we go. So, large spoon. It's about 1/3 of a cup of almond butter. You could use peanut butter or like sunflower seed butter or any nut butter. That's about 1/4 of a cup. And I'm going to add a little bit more. There, like yes, you can measure. I actually have a recipe written down. This is my little like homemade recipe book. There's my recipe, but I kind of just wing it most of the time. So I'm going to mix this up and kind of just get it mushy because almond butter can be really sticky. So if you mix the almond butter up with the maple syrup, then it's a little easier to incorporate everything else. So I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Anyway, 3 tablespoons. Basically, there's 4 tablespoons in 1/4 of a cup. So I'm going to do just under 1/4 of a cup because I don't want to use maple syrup in my tablespoon because then I have to wash it and dry it before I measure all my dry stuff, and that just seems annoying. So 1/4 of a cup-ish, a little bit less. Okay. Add that in. Mix it up. I really love maple syrup, and I think everything's better with maple syrup. Maple syrup's really high in potassium, too. So this is actually another reason to eat these when you're adventuring, because then you get some electrolytes. Okay, so maple syrup, almond butter mixture. It's fine. I think, actually, let me turn on this middle light. Yeah. Okay. And I think you guys can see a little bit better. So, see? Okay. Going to mix in a tablespoon of flax, I believe is what I do. I haven't made these in so long. I used to live by these energy balls. Hemp seed, good protein, a tablespoon. It's not really enough when you make a bunch of balls. It yields approximately 24 if you make them small. So like a tablespoon of flaxseed amongst 24 energy balls isn't that amazing, but a little bit of stuff is good. Chia seeds. I always keep chia seeds on hand because you can make chia seed pudding. I put them in my oatmeal. I make energy balls. Sometimes if I'm like, I don't know, making granola if I'm feeling extra ambitious and I make my own almond milk, I take that pulp from the almonds after you grind them up and get the milk out, or the liquid. I guess it's not really milk. It's like almond liquid. If you get the almond liquid out, and then there's all the kind of ground up almond bits, you can take that and make a nice granola out of it. So I added those 3 things. I'm going to add some coconut. I don't always do, but I feel like it today. So, you know, why the hell not? Add some coconut. Take a sip of tea. It's too early for whiskey. Okay. So, everything's kind of like a paste. So it gets kind of... Oops. Xena, come here. She's such a good little girl. She eats all the things that fall on the floor right there. Oh, yeah, that's good stuff. Best cleaner ever. Okay. So now I'm going to add the oats. I do 1.5 cups-ish. So let's just do, instead of getting multiple things dirty, I'll just do 1/2 cup 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This is where like the pastry chef in me is like, whatever, right? Because baking, you always need to be pretty precise, and this is me just not really caring. Okay, so it gets kind of hard to mix into sort of like a paste, but you kind of just push it with the spoon, right, so that it incorporates. You could use your hands too if you wanted. Always wash your hands, hot soap and water, right? Sanitizing solution, like just use hot soap and water. Okay, so now it looked really dry when I first started mixing, and now it's looking pretty good. It kind of looks like oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, but it's not, and there's basically no fat, and they're super healthy, and blah, blah, blah. But they're going to taste good because they have maple syrup and chocolate in it. All right, so I'm going to add some chocolate now. Probably like 1/2 cup-ish is fine. I'm not going to add too many because I don't need them to be like a dessert. You just want them to be like an afternoon snack, a little pick-me-up. And what's great is a lot of this stuff, when you add protein and fats and carbs all together, then it's really nutritionally balanced, and you kind of get a little bit of everything, and they make you feel fuller for longer and give you sustained energy and all that jazz. So, yay. Yeah. So, basically, chocolate chips. I have these big dark chocolate chips left over from, I don't know, apparently I don't bake enough anymore. So they're a little tempered, like the chocolate is bloomed, which is why they're a little white. It's fine. It just means that the tempering is off. So I'm going to just scrape some of that in there. And I like the dust because then you get more of a chocolate flavor all throughout. But then you also got to get some of those chunks too. Okay, so mix it all up. It's pretty good. Yeah. It looks, let's see if we can form a ball. Yeah, almost. It's a little dry, right? So it's not coming together. What am I making? Energy balls. Super healthy. They're delicious. Xena can't eat them anymore, though, because they have chocolate in them, you know. Okay. So, because they're a little dry, I'm actually going to, and I feel like I want them to taste a little more almond buttery, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more almond butter. It's kind of getting towards the end of the batch. So just mix that in, and then if I want to bake them, I could add like a real egg, or I could add a flaxseed egg, which is basically you take some ground flaxseed and add water, and it has a lot of similar properties to eggs, and then it's like a vegan way to make eggs. And I could add some milk, but because I'm not going to bake them, I'm actually not going to add, maybe I should bake them. I don't really know. What the hell am I doing? I'm like winging it. I'm on snow day brain right now. I gotta go into school though to like do some work, you know, because I'm really responsible. And I gotta make sure the ants are attacking everything because I have ants in my classroom because my students are messy little shits. Just kidding. Okay, so it's still a little dry. So I think what I'm going to do is add a little bit of almond milk. I'm trying to decide if I want to bake them or not. You can. You don't have to. Doesn't really matter. So maybe I'll just do coconut oil. That seems like a good idea. And then I don't have to bake them because that just seems like a process. Okay, so this is where flexibility comes in hand. And this is where like, oh, I know that coconut oil is going to help moisten it and make them form into balls a little bit more. Plus it'll give me a little bit more fat. Not like I need more fat. I got plenty of fat. But it'll kind of keep things together and moisten it as well because that's like a function of fat and food. And then I don't have to bake them because I don't have to worry about my almond milk. Yeah, I think that sounds like a good compromise. Okay, I have a couple more minutes because then I'm going to go to the gym. And by the gym, I mean to workout class. Okay. Big ass tub of coconut oil. Costco size. It's lasted me like 6 years. Okay, not 6 years, but like a really long time. All right. No, that's not where my spoons live. That's where my spoons live. Right there. I'm just going to take a little scoop. It's like 2 tablespoons. Pop it in there. Coconut oil has a really low melting point. So if your house is really hot, like mine is in the summer, it'll just be magically liquid already. Which is because mostly it's because it's saturated, and saturated fats have single bonds, no double bonds, and the single bond properties actually give it its characteristics. So saturated fat isn't so great for your heart in comparison to unsaturated fats like olive oil, canola oil, stuff like that, poly or mono unsaturated. And it's all about the single bonds. So the single bonds change its nutritional value, the single bonds change its melting properties, etc. So single bonded fat right here. "30 seconds, should melt pretty quickly. Has a lower melting point than butter, right? Like butter at 77 degrees isn't gonna melt. Coconut oil will. All right, so basically once this melts, I'm gonna add it in there, and then I'm gonna scoop them into little balls and keep them in the fridge. So I'll put them in a Tupperware, and then I'll use, like I save all my little bread bags, these plastic bags, as much as possible. And so then when we go skiing this weekend, I can pop them in here and reuse them, or I reuse my Ziploc baggies over and over again until they like disintegrate. So one Ziploc bag can last you forever. Save the planet, right? Okay. Coconut oil. It's less than 1/4 cup. I bet I did. Yeah, it's about 2 tablespoons, which I think is what I said. So I'm just going to drizzle this on there. Plus the coconut oil gives it a nice flavor. And when you're doing something like skiing, it doesn't matter if you're having a little extra fat or not, because you know what? You're skiing and you're burning a lot of calories, hopefully. All right, there we are. It's a nice mixture. And now you can just take it and scoop it and form it into balls. And now these balls stay nicely together like this, and they're delicious, and it's just oats and all the goodness. You could also use a portion scoop to make them equal size, especially if you were baking. You would want to do that because you want to make sure that they bake at the same rate. But these guys, once they solidify, that coconut oil, actually that was a good call on my part to add it, because it's going to solidify as well and give them a little more, like, keep them together more, give them more structure. Yeah, so Energy Balls 101, super easy. You can basically put whatever the hell you want in them. If you did an egg, though, you would want to make sure that you bake them. If you did milk, you'd want to make sure you bake them. But if you're just doing raw ingredients like this, like coconut oil and almond butter and stuff, you actually don't need to bake them, right? Those are stable at room temperature. So pack them nice and tight, make little balls, pop them in the fridge. They'll store for, I don't know, like a week or so. They'll last at room temperature. They'll last longer in the fridge. That's how things work. Yeah, that's about it. So, happy snow day. It's like really nice out and sunny, but I'm going to take a snow day and I'm not going to complain. And that's my recipe. I'll put a link I'll post it and I'll put the recipe on it. I think that's something I should do now. Yeah, we're going to go wash my hands, take Xena on a walk. Oh, don't say the word. Shit, I said the word. She looked at me really excited. They'll be later, so not now. Sorry. Psych. Okay. Thanks. Bye, guys. Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday. It's like the best week ever. Okay, bye.